They have over 360 oil wells scattered all over their territories, but they are not given their place in Nigeria. One of them was at the Arise News. So I just want you to listen to him, okay? And I'll tell you why I wanted you to listen to him. Another complaint.
You know, frankly, that oil and gas sustain the Nigeria economy. And Urhobo ethnic nationality produces high quantum in oil and gas. In fact, today, we have over 350 producing oil well, producing in high quantity. And the Urhobo is crisscrossed with a lot of gas and crude oil pipeline. But today in the Nigeria project, we are nowhere to be found. For example, look at the composition of the board of NNPC, where you have the two executive directors and northerners, people who do not produce oil and gas. Meanwhile, the Urhobo ethnic nationality that produce oil and gas in large quantity, what Urhobo produces alone is more than Imo, Edo, and Ondo put together. That tells you the quantum of oil we produce. We don't have a sitting member in the board of NNPC. And again, you have a PTDF. PTDF trains people yearly on overseas scholarship. You cannot see any Urhobo man, any Urhobo daughter that is on the list of that scholarship. You see names like Abdullahi, you see names like Adamu, and so on and so forth. People who come from areas that do not bear the brunt of the oil production. Today, we the Urhobo people cannot farm. We cannot also fish. Our ecosystem has been bastardized. And the oil and gas we produce in the entire petroleum sector, we are nowhere to be found. For example, they decided to casualize our people. If you go to Warri Refinery and Petrochemical Company, our people are casuals. If you look at all the strategic business units in the oil and gas, our people are not there. For example, NNPC has about 55 chief executive or executive directors. Out of these 55, you have 36 for northern Nigeria, and you have 16 for the entire southern Nigeria. So Urhobos are nowhere to be found. That the federal government, at the federal level, that is not a law. Even at the state level, we are being shortchanged. For example, 30% is being given to the state government. And in Delta State, we have a law called the Sopadec Law. 50% of the 30% ought to be given to the commission called the Sopadec, Delta State Oil Producing Area Development Commission, for the development of the oil producing areas. We cannot have projects from the Sopadec that is commensurate to the quantum of the oil we produce from that 50%. And in fact, the sharing formula that goes on in the Sopadec today is a mere allocation of figure. Okay. It ought to be on production.
Okay, but with due respect, the governor of Delta State, Sheriff Oboriwore, is an Urhobo man. Why are you complaining about the Sopadec, that Urhobo's interests are not being met, when the governor is an Urhobo man?
Thank you very much for this question. The governor is an Urhobo man. We are talking of age-long neglect of the Urhobo people. For example, Urogan has called on the state government to reach out to the appropriate federal government structure or office to give us the quantum of production until the quantum of production of each of the ethnic nationality in Delta State is gotten from the appropriate government office, in this case, Nigeria Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission. The mere allocation is an injustice to the Urhobo people because today in Desopadek, the Urhobo people working there are suffering. They are being treated like second-class citizens.
So all of this is music to my ears. They are suffering, but the governor is an Urhobo man. I mean that because what concerns have you raised with the governor? Because, correct me if I'm wrong, it is the state that pretty much runs the Sopadek. So, why have you not raised these concerns with the governor of the state? And why are you crying marginalization? A lot of people will look at you and say, Edo, we should not play this regional or ethnic politics. It's not good for national development. But I say you are crying marginalization in a state where the governor is an Urhobo man.
In fact, the marginalization is of two strata, from the federal government and even at the state level.
So let's deal with. So are you saying?
Let me tell you.
Hang on a minute. Are you saying that is an Urhobo man-led state government that is now marginalizing the Urhobo people? Is that what you're saying? That administration of Governor Sheriff Boriwori is marginalizing Urhobo people? Is that what you're saying?
For example,
is that what you're saying?
The 8-year tenure of Governor. Let me answer that question.
Okay.
For example, the 8-year tenure of Governor Okowa, Urhobos did not benefit, frankly speaking, because if that 50% was actually moved to Desopadek, released to Desopadek, and those monies were used for the oil producing area, we will benefit a lot. That is why we are calling on Governor Sheriff to reach out to the federal government appropriate office to give us the quantum of production for each ethnic nation. You know.
Nuisance, Lele. You get it? So if you don't get it, forget about it.
You get it? Okay. If you don't get it, forget about it.
Alaye is hustling for their own meal tickets. If Abdullahi can come from Zamfara to come and sit down and get appointment in NNPC, Zamfara, we no get oil. What is wrong with Alaye from Urhobo? They didn't give us appointment, but you are the governor of the state. Oh, I forgot. I forgot that. I'm talking about before now. Oh, okay. So it is not about the development of Urhobo land, provision of basic amenities like road, power, water, healthcare, schools, and all of that. He was not on that program to complain about all of that. He was there to tell everybody that since now tribal, ethnic, religious, and all other nonsense that people are using to have their own fair share of the national cake. So why not? I'm Urhobo. I am Urhobo. You need to give us, but they are already giving the oil producing areas 13% derivation formula. How about you go to your governor that collect the 13% derivation and ask him, we are oil producing community. You need to pay more attention to us. Also, Padek is controlled by you. How come you cannot really go there? And, I mean, no, he's not interested in all of that. You need appointments so that whenever the money allocated for any of these positions arrives, right, they will be the one to take it on behalf of the Urhobo people. You know, no? When you see the Northerners and say, we have been marginalized, Tifnubu is giving appointment to his people. To them, right? It simply means that those of them, right, those of them who are Northerners, Fulani, Muslims, I don't know, like that, like they use the card all the time. Yeah, you play the card. This one is for the North. This one is for the South. This one is for this. This one is for that. So Urhobo people, like, the guy is like, why can't I get that same treatment? I'm Urhobo. I have oil. So why can't we also be appointed, Urhobo people appointed into all these positions? It's not all about development. It is about their own development. And that's why they have the NNPC, the NDDC. and he wanted appointment. He said, NNPC has 52 board members. So the 36 of them is from the north. And then 26 of them, I say, Allah, calm down. Okay. So it is all about the sharing formula. But waiting when I want to even the share self, don't that one self don't explode. I don't know if you have read the headline this evening. NNPC Nigeria declares state of emergency on oil production in Nigeria. Does that make any sense to you? Okay. That's the headline. NNPC declares state of emergency on oil production. What does that even mean? I'll tell you what they are practically trying to bulaba the people with. It's absolute nonsense to start with, okay? But another, like they are using nonsense to cover up a serious situation, okay? These guys were telling everybody that under Teflumbu, oil production has improved from 900,000 barrels a day under Bukuwari. Now, they call under Tifnumbu, oil production has increased to 1.8 million barrels a day. And you know that if the people you are lying to, if they don't know that you are lying to them, you that is telling the lie, you will know, you know you are lying. There is this analogy. I will repeat it 1 million times because it is very good for this analysis. A boy who went to the farm with his father. And while they were walking on the farm, the young man screamed, "I found a snail." His father told him to keep it. We will use it to appease your creator when we get home. He repeated the same lie. Well, he repeated the same shout 4 more times. And at every shout, he said he discovered the biggest snail. The next one, the biggest one. The next one is the biggest, And the father was like, lucky you. Your creator must be behind you. Success must have been your own portion. And that is why you have been seeing those big snails. We will use the biggest one to appease your own creator. Sort of like tradition. So they got home at night. The father had his meal, had his that before he was going to go to his bed, like relaxing it into his chamber. He just remembered and he called out his son, "Son, come here. Before I kind of crash into my bed, I need you to go and bring the biggest of all those snails you found so that I can pray for you." And then the boy looked back and laughed and said, "Oh, Papa, I was only deceiving you. I didn't see any snail. Oh, I was deceiving you." And the father, with so much disappointment all over his face, looked at him. "No, you are not deceiving me. You didn't deceive me. You actually deceived your creator. You will deal with that." That's the story of this Tifnumbu and all these propagandas. Refinery, Warri Refinery, Kaduna Refinery, Port Harcourt Refinery. They are going to start operation by December. Now, people are now aware that no, they didn't tell them which year. Dangote Refinery is going to start operation in July. A lot of you have not been paying attention, except the media that is putting the year. These guys never put year. If they tell you Dangote Refinery is going to start operation by the end of July, it doesn't mean that's going to be next one. If it be the end of July of 2030. You see all these lies. So they kept publishing that they have now increased oil production in Nigeria. And if you say you increase oil production, nobody say now increase money be that. So that was the problem. Now it has now come to the public. Not now, it's always been a lie that we kind of knew, right? So it has now come to the public, even through them, that and so they say, "Oh yeah, come and do the account of How many 1.8 million barrels? 1.8 million barrels. You were like that, right? 1.8 million times 11 months. That would be minus 20% minus, and then a 40, okay, 46% for us. So that should be that Nigeria must have made so amount of billions. NMPC, could you please come and tell us where is that money you made from 1.8 million barrels of crude oil every day in the last 10 months? So Wahala started. No, we didn't say 1.8. That's when the story started changing. No, we didn't. We said we projected 1.8. And under the leadership of President Tifnumbu, we have made so much progress. We are now, before President Tifnumbu, Nigeria has been suffering from the losses of oil production because they were stealing the crude oil. Nigeria was losing 700,000 barrels of crude oil every day. You know that, Abi? I said, yes. Alaye answered the question. Say, so what do you mean by you are not producing 1.8? But you actually said that you have been, 3 months back, you said Nigeria is now has improved oil production to 1.8. And that's what that's Kiari now. I said that's what he was trying to explain to us. Okay, continue. So Kiari was like, yes, when Tifnumbu came in, Nigeria was producing 950,000 barrels. Okay, I heard that before. So now when the improvement of Tifnumbu's policy, that's the one we want to. How much are you producing now? If you are not producing 1.8, what are you producing every day in the last 10 months? My answer is 960,000. Abolori Blukuni and Kiari. That's the reaction, no? Are you actually being serious? Say that again. The improved oil production in Nigeria since Tifnumbu came in and stopped those who are stealing crude oil. Abi, what is that again? That's what I'm saying. It's a tremendous work. You don't understand. Nigeria was collapsed. But because of Tifnumbu, you see, the oil theft has reduced. That's why they are declared state of emergency on oil production in Nigeria. Can you hear me? What does that even mean? What happened is this. They have been lying to you, trying to print money. Where they have been printing money, borrowing money to cover up all the lies. I don't think they can sustain it. So they just have to create another lie that will make you look like, we just discovered that the 700,000 barrel of crude oil that they were stealing under Bokwari, my dear brethren, ladies and gentlemen, those who were stealing the Nigeria crude oil under the Bokwari, they are still in business under Tifnumbu. And the proceeds from all this stolen crude oil, Tifnumbu and his gang, including Bokwari, they do know where the money goes to. They do know. But they are lying to you. Now, Kiari has come out to say NMPC has to declare a state of emergency. They declared a state of emergency on agriculture in July 2023. Have you forgotten? No, I haven't. Problem. I know they forget. Now, one thing will lead to another, and I would just like, it's been over a year. Well, it's almost a year now. How far with the state of emergency on agriculture? How far? Now, they've declared a state of emergency on petroleum when Bill Gates and his own foundation are doing everything possible to begin to give you cows grown in the lab. Bill Gates and his money. GMO cows. Scientist Bill Gates. A place where you have roads. Your Minister of Agriculture is promoting GMO. He's so proud to be associated with that because it's going to end hunger. Now, the person will bring GMO to Nigeria is going to bring you the cows. Maybe that's going to work. That will be what will end your Fulani terrorism, Abi. I don't know. I'm just saying, because according to Bill Gates, cows are contributing something to the carbon dioxide. So the best way is to create the cows from the lab, like they are creating the seeds that you are currently planting, and there is nobody in the government of Nigeria, right, to actually put Nigerians on the alert so that they will have the choice. In the UK, the GMO, lab-grown seed and all of that food, they have them partially and well controlled in the UK, and the public is very much aware what they look like. Many of you don't, and that's what it's going to look like when they bring the cows too. Listen to the kind of cow they are bringing to you. Lab, third world country. The world is rigged against us.
The atmosphere now is caused by the electricity grid, which is about 25% or so.
Exactly.
So 24%, it comes from agriculture and forestry. Why is that causing such a big increase in carbon?
Cows and other grass-eating species have a digestion system that emits methane. And methane is a very powerful greenhouse gas. And so cows alone account for about 6% of global emissions. And so we need to change cows, just cows alone.
How are we going to do that?
Well, actually, of all the categories, the one that has gone better than I would have expected 5 years ago is this work to make what's called artificial meat. And so you have people like Impossible or Beyond Meat, both of which I invested in.
You eat it as well, and you like it?
Absolutely.
You do.
You can go to Burger King and buy the Impossible Burger.
All right. Is it healthier for you or just healthier for the atmosphere?
It's slightly healthier for you in terms of less cholesterol. It's, of course, dramatic reduction in methane emissions, animal cruelty, manure management, and the pressure that meat consumption puts on land use. The main reason why we need to increase the agricultural output over the rest of this century is not the population increase. It's that as countries get richer, they eat more meat, and meat is a very inefficient way of creating calories.
The atmosphere now is caused by the electricity grid.
I know. But at least you would have the choice. Somebody said that's what we have been eating in the Western world. That's not true. And this is how sometimes people say things that are not true. But they are convinced because somehow, I don't know if it is a trust issue or something, right? So you are living in a place where they indeed, yes, they have all numerous of all the nonsense that they put around, but at the same time, you want fresh fruits, fresh food, fresh meat. How can you say that's what we are eating all over here? Even me, where they eat to goofy for yourself. I can tell you where farms, where they kill them and where they bring them from. So you need to know what you are eating. That's one thing we have the privilege of here. You will know what you are eating. Yeah. So anyway, I sort of noticed some, some Rugbodinho again on YouTube. So I have put One True Emperor temporarily on a timeout. But there is something I kind of want you to know. And it seems that we shouldn't be going away from it. I know some of us probably can be very raunchy and all of that, raunchy and all of that. And let me tell you something, okay? You have to respect the people's, whatever it is, their views. You can disagree with people however you like. So One True Emperor, don't call anybody on this platform slave, okay? And don't ever use general word on people here anymore. There is some level of